you learn about Bryant this season?
That he has what it takes to be a head coach in this league for a very long time. I think it's that simple. I had my exit interview with them earlier this morning, and I told them I thought they were, and being a head coach I think is multifaceted, but I thought I articulated that I think there are two main areas of being a successful head coach. I think one is being able to command a room, and players respect you, players hear you, players look you in the eye, and try to go out and execute what you tell them to execute. And I think the other piece is X's and O's. And I think there are head coaches that don't have both. I think there are coaches that have one. I think there are coaches that have both. And I think BK has both. I think he's a guy that guys respect based off of his resume, who he's coached, where he's coached, the success he's had in this league, and then the knowledge he has for this game. I think guys on our team, in our locker room, responded to him extremely well this season. And then when push comes to shove and you need an ATO or you need something at the end of the game, BK's getting on that board. He's putting something on the board that is excellent. So I think he has what it takes.
You said on media day that it was a goal of yours to play for this organization. You detailed all the connections that you had. What was the year like playing in DC?
Oh man, the elephant in the room. I was injured a lot of the year, so that was frustrating, of course. But as far as playing in DC, man, it's been incredible. With my wife and my kids, it's been a joy to be in the city, living in Northern Virginia. Just sort of old stomping grounds for me. UVA being down the street. The city is diverse. It has a lot to do. It's very family friendly. So it's been, if not the best, one of the best places we've lived during the season, not during the season. It's been terrific.
And what about the culture here you think could lead to winning down the road? What have you noticed as someone who's been part of multiple organizations that okay, these are the habits that are going to lead to good things?
The process is right here. The leadership is intact. The leadership is organized. You can see the plan. I've been with organizations. I've been in places where you can't really see the plan. It doesn't feel organized. People don't feel like they're on the same page, and that's not the case here. Winger and Will, I think they have just their ducks in a row, and you can see that from how communicative they are with the players, with the coaching staff, and little things from how the food is prepped here at the facility, at the arena, how we travel. It's a high level operation here. I think they're really trying to rebuild this thing the right way, and I think they're doing an excellent job.
How you doing, man?
How you doing?
Doing all right. Just like you just mentioned, behind the scenes, a lot of things happening behind the scenes. Is that what gives you confidence that this team's heading in the right direction? It's not so much what's seen, but a lot of work's being done behind the scenes.
Yeah, man, it's the process. Like I said, it's the steps that are being taken every day, the approach, the energy that's brought to work every day, and the coaching staff that we have now brings incredible energy to work every day, regardless of losing 16 games in a row. We show up to work the same way the next day, and that I think made all the difference. I think for a lot of people that were in the gym with us this season, at practices watching, the energy didn't change. The energy didn't shift from the coaching staff, from BK, but also from the players. We had an approach this season, I think, that was just very resilient, and those are the habits I think that you build now. And the young guys, the young core, Bilal, Keyshawn, Bub, Alex, they're instilled with that, and they become vets here, and this team really becomes a playoff team and a contender. I mean, that's the goal at the end of the day. So, I think they're building the right habits.
Malcolm, you talked about how you were injured for a lot of the year. What did you learn from sitting out and just sitting back and watching?
A lot. Like I said earlier, I got to really watch BK coach this team, and I got to see him grow as a coach over the year, first-time head coach. I thought he was great. I thought he learned. I thought he changed. I got to see our guys grow up. I got to see our guys mature. I got to see Jordan grow as a leader. I think that was a big test for him this season. We know Jordan can go out and have 40 points. We know he's a champion. We know all these things. We know he's really, really good. But can he lead? Can he relate to the young guys? Can he respond to coach in a way that the young guys are watching and he can be an example for them? And I thought he grew in all those areas this year. Yeah, man. I think it was a season to grow. You know, people are looking at the win-loss column. That's not the only way in which you grow in the NBA, especially for rebuilding teams. It's about the process. It's about how you're approaching the game and the work every single day. And I thought this team and organization overall did that.
And when you think about yourself as a player, what would you say are your biggest strengths and some of the things you want to work on the most moving forward?
As a player, my biggest strengths are, I think, leading by example. I've become more vocal over my career. I think this year I was able to, you know, a blessing and a curse of being injured, you're able to pour into other guys more. I was able to pour into the young guys and really develop real, authentic relationships with them and become friends with them. And I can't say that in every organization that I've been in. And you know, on the court, being the stability on the court, being the calm on the court, being a guy that has the ball at the end of his hands, that's making the right decisions to finish games. And then I broke my thumb at the beginning of the season, so my shooting was off from the three this season. But usually shooting the ball is a big strength of mine, and getting to the rim. I feel like I can get to the rim and get to the free throw line as well as anybody in the NBA. So, then guarding all 5 positions. That's something I've grown into and continue to get better at. So I think those are my strengths. Weaknesses, I think my biggest one is just being healthy. Been a big frustration for me. Some of my stuff this year was fluke injuries, breaking your thumb, having someone fall on you and, getting your high ankle sprain. But some of my stuff is, the hammy, the soft tissue stuff. So that's always been a big frustration of mine, but it's back to the drawing board. It's continuing to work on your mobility, continuing to work on your strength, and making sure your body is right, going into training camp next year. So it's a 4 or 5 month process now, so 4 or 5 month process. So the work starts now. I'll be off the court, but I'll be in the weight room and on the PT table really every day going forward.
Hey Malcolm, as a defensive guard, how important is it to develop that in a team to build a contender, to have a defensive backcourt, and how well do you think the Wizards are building that, not just with yourself and Marcus, but with young guys like Bub and AJ?
Yeah, I think they're building it the right way. I think Winger and Will are drafting in a way that makes the team well-rounded. I don't think they're thinking about next year. I think they're thinking about in 4 or 5 years. What will and what can these guys become? And you look at Bilal should be a first team all defense every year. You look at Bub has the ability to be an all defensive player every year too. So, they're building it the right way. I think defense is important. A guy like Marcus is the epitome of what a defensive guard can and the impact that they can have on a really high level team. So I think the building blocks for being great defensively, especially in that backcourt and the 1 through 3 position, I think is here.
Trying to get an example of the things that they're doing. What did the end of season plan that they delivered to you look like, and how did it compare to the other places you went?
There's just I think here there's just an expectation that you are working this summer, that summer's not for vacation. That was actually clearly articulated in one of our meetings, and that there are opportunities really every month for the team to get together and work. I think a lot of guys in this league will, not like that or not want to get together as a team, during your off season. But I think the guys they put in this room together, this team, guys want to work, guys want to get better, and guys want to come together during the summer because we built good relationships, and they do want to be better next season. So it's the expectation that the front office and the coaching staff puts on us going into the summer that I think will propel us next season.
Malcolm, over here.
Right.
When you look at the season that you had with the injuries, and I know you talked about the frustration that it was for you, being healthy now, when you look back at that, what was the biggest thing that you learned about yourself as a vet going through that process of being healthy, dealing with the injury, getting back on the floor, and then it unfortunately happening again?
It was really less about myself. I think it's the impact you can still have on the people around you even when you're not at your best. You know, I wasn't healthy for, you know, a solid portion of the season, but I feel like I still had a big impact on the young guys, especially. The relationships I built with them, you know, the level at which I was able to really pour into them, get to know them, and influence them in a good way. I think that was important. JT3 came to me, I think maybe a third into the season. I was out for a game, and he was like, "Man, I've really watched you attack your rehab." And the young guys are watching too. Like, that stuff is important. They're watching that, and watching how you handle as a vet, and have had a lot of success in this year. They're watching how you handle adversity. That's going to pay off for them later. So we appreciate how you're doing that. So that meant a lot for me, him saying that. But it also made me realize, like, oh, I can still have an impact even with how I handle my rehab. So that's really the thing I learned about myself. I'm resilient. I knew I was. For me, I didn't get to this level without being resilient, without defying the odds. But being impactful even when you're not at your best, for me, was important for me to see.
When you look at yourself and Sadiq, DK talked a lot about the way you guys were attacking your rehab at different points. Knowing that then JT3 reiterates that from the standpoint of what the young guys are seeing with such a young group and so many of them at one time, how impressive was it for you to see how much and how willing they were wanting to learn and just be sponges from all of you within the organization that have been at the highest level, have won at the highest level, have competed at the highest level in different situations, to help impact their careers moving forward in such a very quick time?
Yeah, you know, I think it's as a vet, I see it as a privilege to be able to impact the young guys, to have that influence, for them to look to you for advice and guidance. So I think you cherish that, and you handle it carefully, because you do have a big influence on these guys and how they're going to turn out in their NBA careers. But I think it's a testament to the young guys and the character that they have, as far as them being sponges and wanting to learn. Because these guys have had, Alex was a number 2 pick in the draft. That's a feat right there. Like, not many people, everybody, a lot of us get drafted and, you know, have great careers, but no one gets picked in the top 5. Like, that's special. But for him to come in here with the attitude he had all year, wanting to learn and wanting to get better, it was incredible. And I think it's a testament to the front office and the guys they select. I think they're very meticulous about the people they select and the environment they're crafting here. And I think they do their due diligence on the guys that they're trading for, the guys that they're trading, the guys that they're bringing in and drafting, and the guys that they're signing. I think it's incredibly important for them that they bring in the right people, and they've done that time and time again. So the young guys they brought in have been incredible, all of them, and they want to continue to learn and get better, and they're competitive and they want to win. So I think that's all you can ask from them, and you know, yeah, I think it's you know, we're building something good.
How do you describe Bo?
What comes to mind? Competitive, fiery, silly. That's how intelligent. Those are the things that immediately come to mind about Bob. And you hear those attributes, and that's the making for a great NBA player for a long time. And I think that's what he'll be. I thought he showed flashes. People will remember the season as, you know, him, you know, making that last shot against Miami and finishing the season like that. That was an incredible shot and a great moment for him. But Bub had a great season overall. And I thought he really grew as a player. He's fire. He has a competitive nature where, you know, he's been, I think he's been great at all the levels he's been at and dominated. And I watched him grow this season from someone that, you know, I don't know, he's so competitive, man. He struggles with losing. So he's a guy that struggles with losing, and I don't know. He really grew. I got close to Bub. We play the same position, so I really got to see him grow as a leader, grow as a player, and and grow as a teammate. I thought he was great all season, and I think he's going to be actually a great leader for this team going forward. I think that's going to be his role.